So today's video is about making RAG chatbots. RAG spells RAG, means Retrieval Augmented Generation. I'm not going to get into the weeds of what RAG is. I'm going to link a video in the description so you can check it out for yourself. There's a few technical concepts, but in a nutshell, RAG basically just takes a document or whatever knowledge base format that you have, splits it into little vectors which have metadata and are stored in a vector database. The key difference between a RAG AI chatbot and a normal AI chatbot is think of a normal AI chatbot as a super smart person who has access to all of the knowledge in the world, but until a certain cutoff, which is generally the cutoff date of most language models. Whereas a RAG AI chatbot is something which is, well, it's the same person that has access to all of the knowledge in the world, but they also have access to your specific documentation so that it's able to answer questions about, let's say, a book that you uploaded or a knowledge base for your company. Maybe you have specific PDF documents that are not publicly available. So it's going to reference all of those private documents and be able to answer in a way that the customer or the person who's asking the question understands. So this is what the RAG setup typically looks like. It's a very basic setup, but it's a good starting point. This is your data prep pipeline, and this is your chat pipeline. The data prep pipeline is, think of it as feeding documents to the knowledge base. And the chat pipeline is exactly what it sounds like. It's the workflow that actually carries out the chat. We're going to run this workflow. I already uploaded a document, which was, I think it was a PDF on rules of tennis. So we will start the chat and ask the chatbot, what are the top 3 rules of serving? And the chatbot is, as you can see, it's going through the Supabase vector store. It's creating a response, and it's given me an answer. So the top 3 rules of serving in tennis are the service position, the release and hit, and the order of serving. Sounds good. Now let's get to building it. Now to build this workflow, in the first step, just go ahead and add chat trigger because we need to add something inside that first primary trigger. Now the next trigger that we're going to add is going to be a manual trigger. So we search for manual trigger, and this is where we're building the pipeline through which it uploads documents. The next node is going to be your Google Drive node. And over here, you're going to select download a file. We're already logged into our Google account, but if you don't have credentials already set up in n8n, just click on create new credentials and then open the docs to see how you can connect your n8n with Google Drive. Essentially, you will need a OAuth redirect URL, a client ID, and the client secret. Sorry, the redirect URL is going to be provided by n8n. So regardless of whether you're using a local install for n8n, or if you're using a cloud version, you'll get the redirect URL from n8n, and the client ID and client secret are going to be provided by Google Cloud Console. We already have our credentials set up, so we're going to close this, and inside the download a file node, we're going to select our file. Make sure that you have a file already uploaded that you want to test this with. I'm going to use this tennisrules.pdf. Close this. The next node is going to be our vector database, which in this case we're using Supabase. To set up Supabase, you basically just need to go to supabase.com and sign up for a new account. I already have one. Now, I will link the documents that you can read through to set up your Supabase and connect it to n8n. There is a SQL that you have to run as well to set up your first vector database, but it's all really easy. It's included inside the documentation for both n8n and Supabase. Just follow along and you'll be fine. Now the node that we're going to select for the vector store is going to be add documents to vector store. Inside insert documents, we don't change that. And over here, we select the table that Supabase created for us, which is documents. And you'll see this when you create your first project and then table within that project on Supabase. The next thing that we need to do is we need to add a document data loader. There's two options that you get in n8n, which is a default data loader and the GitHub document loader. Just go ahead and use the default data loader. Type of data, you have to change this to binary because that's the format that you download files from in Google Drive, the node that we had previously. So this one over here downloads files as a binary. In the embeddings model, go ahead and choose OpenAI. Create new credentials. If you already don't have this signed in, just provide your API key, your organizational ID, and you're good to go. We're going to use the text embedding 3 small model, and that's it. We can now run this workflow. So now it's downloading the file. As you can see, the file that it downloaded was in the form of a binary format, and it's called data, and it's uploaded it to the Supabase vector store. The next step is to create the agent that's actually going to go now and search for the documents, relevant vectors inside the database to come up with an answer. Now that AI agent can be built really easily by just clicking AI agent. Don't need to change this part over here, just leave it as connected chat trigger node. And the tool is the main thing that we need to add over here, which in this case is our vector store, the one that we just created. In the description, you can add something like work with data in this vector store to answer questions about the rules of tennis. You're obviously going to change the description according to what documents you have in there, but that's just a good basic prompt to start off with for the sake of this tutorial. Select documents, which is the table we created. Now we're also going to click on re-rank results. And a little bit about that is the way that RAG agents work is when you give it a query, it's going to go start looking inside the vector database for matching results. Now, if you tell it to only come up with 2 results or 4 results, what that's going to do is it will come up with 4 results, but those are going to be the first 4 results that it comes across. Now, if my query says, tell me the rules of serving in tennis, it's going to go ahead and search for different keywords against the vectors that are stored inside the database. And the first 4 results that it might come across might not be relevant to the question that I'm asking. So let's say it comes up with 15 results, and out of those 15 results, 6 or 5 have a relevance score of 0.2, 0.3, and the remaining 10 have a relevance score of 0.8 and above. Now it's going to re-rank those results in order of the relevance score. So the results with the highest relevance scores are going to go on top, and then it's going to use those to answer my question. The next thing that you want to make sure that you add over here is the re-ranker itself. Now the re-ranker that we're using is the re-ranker by Cohere. Very simple to set up. They have docs in n8n. Just go check those docs out. I'm going to leave a link inside the description as well. Might not, because the docs are already here anyway. You can go check those out how to connect this Cohere account to your n8n, and that should sort it out. And then we also need to add an embeddings model like we did in the previous pipeline where we were uploading documents. We use the same model by OpenAI, which is the text embedding 3 small model. In memory, you can add simple memory for now, but I like to use Postgres chat memory. Another video for another day. Let's just go ahead and use simple memory for now. And in the chat model over here, what you want to do is you will select OpenAI, and here the model that we want to use is 4o mini, and go ahead and select that. Clean this up, and that's it. That's your basic RAG chatbot. Obviously, there is a lot of things that you can add into this. For example, if you want to feed in more data, you can have the data sources be in a way that this will upload, or this will search for new documents inside your Google Drive every 2 days, so that every new document that is uploaded automatically gets uploaded to your vector database. You can also make rules for deleting previous data by selecting the AI node over here by Supabase vector store. You can get ranked documents from your vector store. You can add documents. You can retrieve documents for chain. You can update vector store documents. So there's a lot of things that you can do with the vector store itself. Adding, removing documents is one of them. And then in the model over here, in the AI agent, you can add as many tools as you want. Maybe you want a Google Sheet that is retrieving results as well, that the agent is using to retrieve results from. You can also use an HTTP request to pull data in from an API. So let's say you have an external knowledge database like Hubstaff, SharePoint, Confluence. You can pull in data from over there as well, and really make it as sophisticated as you need it to be. That's all there really is to it. Don't let jargons like RAG, retrieval augmented generation, vectors, chunking confuse you. If you have a hang of how to use n8n, building this workflow is as easy as cake. If you want to download this workflow, just head over to the link that I've left in the descriptions, download it, import the JSON file into your n8n, and you're good to go. If you found any sort of value in this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.